Hey there, it's Kay, and I want to welcome you to my budget and planning channel. Thank you so much for joining me today as I work on getting my March 2023 budget set up by decorating my calendar and setting up my monthly estimated income and expenses. So the first thing I like to do is get started by marking my paydays on my calendar here. I have some stickers that I'm going to use for that. These are some caffeinated Kate stickers, and I'm going to be using 2 paydays for March. I do get paid 3 times in March. The first is Wednesday the 1st. The second is Wednesday the 15th. And the third is Wednesday the 29th. However, I'm going to be using the paycheck from the 29th as my first paycheck of April. So I'm not going to mark that on this calendar view here. Now I'm going to grab something to write with. I grabbed a Sharpie pen in black today, which I don't normally use a lot, but that's what I decided to use today. I'm going to use these bill due stickers to mark my regularly occurring fixed payments and put them on their due dates on the calendar here. Now, this month is a little different because I picked up a new subscription. So I now have one more fixed expense that I'm budgeting for that I did not have before. So now most of these are on auto pay except for my rent. So I'm going to start with this side here. And the first thing, like regular, is my Spotify, which is $5 on the student plan. And then I have my Sprint bill, which is $54. And Safeco is my car insurance, and that is $134. Then I have my tuition repayment plan with UMass Lowell for $50 a month. And my new subscription is YouTube. I started paying for YouTube Premium because I was just getting really annoyed with ads, and I really like it so far. I don't think I'm gonna cancel it. So I obviously need a budget for it since, free trials don't last forever. And that is, I think, $11.99. Let me double check. So it is $11.99 a month. I do like to round up in my budget, and I try to use whole dollar values. So I'm going to mark that as $12. And then that penny can just roll over into my checking cushion. It's just a penny. Next, I have my Adobe Creative Cloud. And that's $30 a month on the student discount. I think there's a student discount for the YouTube, but I have to do something that's kind of annoying, like it was getting the Spotify discount. So I'll look into it because it probably will save me a lot of money, but I'm just going to budget for the full price right now. And then the last thing I have due at the end of the month is my rent. My portion is $913. So let me show you on the calendar when these are all due. So I did write these in chronological order from left to right. So I'm going to undo them. So rent, due on the 1st of the month, and I like to try and pay it a couple days beforehand. So I'm going to put that here on the 29th. Adobe is due on the 26th. My due date for the YouTube renewal, I have it set on auto pay, and that's the 24th. And And then UMass is due on the 15th. Sorry if you can hear lots of jingling in the background, that's my cat. Safeco's due on the 13th, which is also an auto pay bill. And then Sprint is due on the 10th. Spotify is due on the 1st. So there is the basic distribution of my bills over the month. I mean, they're pretty well dispersed. Although the way I've just found that I like to do my budget is to use my first paycheck to cover everything except for the rent, and then the second paycheck to cover the rent. So the last thing I want to do is, well, what about my variable expenses? I'm gonna start my key for my variable spending categories. So I'm gonna flip. Now I have not changed my variable categories. They're still pretty much the same. I'm thinking about modifying some of them like I've done to my savings, but for now, I think I'm just gonna keep categorizing them as I have been. Because I mean, it's working for me the way that I do my budget. I'm just at the point where I'm like super bored with my budget. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe if I change something, I'll be more engaged with my budget. But sometimes making things tedious makes me also not want to do them. So I don't know, my heart's a little torn. So there are my variable categories. I'm going to stick these in the side here. Oop, too close to the edge of the paper for my liking. Let's try again. Thank God I printed these on removable sticker paper this time. And this is such a fun like color scheme. Obviously it's like very St. Patty's Day, but also a little springy, like early spring. But it's time to put this pretty presentation away and get straight into the number side of things. So obviously I already wrote down the values for my fixed expenses here, but what about my income? So I know that I did mention, I believe in February's budget setup, that I was saving January's rollover for March, since March is a longer month and I might need a few extra dollars. Well, when I was closing out January's budget off camera, I made a bunch of mistakes and I went back and like redid it, refixed everything. And like, long story short, I only have $2 of rollover from January. I'm still gonna count it, but yeah. Long story short on that one is just I made some errors when I was doing the math, and then I did a lot of overspending, especially in the food category. And so yeah, I have $2 to count here, which is an actual number, so I know we can carry that over. For my paychecks, I am going to under budget them. I am going to use the numbers that I was using before I got a raise, so I'm gonna go back to estimating $1,000 each. The reason for that being is, well, yeah, I got a raise, but now I got my hours cut, so I'm not supposed to be working more than 32 hours a week now. So that kind of sucks. In a weird way, I actually think I'm going to be earning less money now. So what that means is I'm going to be estimating an income of $2,002. So these fixed expenses numbers, these are the same values from my calendar. These total to 1,198. So that is a pretty large chunk of my budgeted income. Now, this leaves about $800 between my variable expenses and my savings. But let's work on the variable expenses first. So, like I said, in January, I did really badly overspend in food. So, I thought about it and I looked at like the expenditure and the numbers and stuff, and I don't think I need to increase this category. This like budgeted, I usually budget $350. I went over $400 in January, and to be honest, a lot of it was like grab and go fast food and like gas station type expenses. So it's just something that I need to like work on, slow down, and like get in the habit of like making my lunch and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna increase the budget for that. I'm gonna go with my estimated $350. I'm gonna go with my typical $50 allowance. And allowance is the other category that I overspent in January, actually. It was kind of weird and shocking since I usually underspend. But the other three I did really well in. So laundry, I'm going to leave at 50. Pet, I'm going to leave at 100. And transportation, I'm going to leave at 75. So the usual suspects. So this totals up to $625. So if I'm estimating an income of $2,002, this is my fixed expenses. $625 is my variable expenses. I have $179 approximately to think about saving. And one of these savings groups, I am committed to saving $50 a month in until I need it. That's my car registration. So that already takes 50 out of 179. So I have 129 left. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other sinking funds here. And I think instead of dispersing things evenly amongst everyone, I think I'm gonna opt out on some of them. So my rainy day fund is my newer sinking fund that I started this year. And I got a really good head start on it, so I'm not gonna budget anything into it. I also don't need to sink anything into my school fund right now. I also don't really need to put anything in my personal fund right now. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what if I do 20, 40, 60, 80, and then 30, 60, 90, 120, and then put the 9 in emergency? No. Why don't I don't need to put this much thought into them. I don't know why I do this every time. Like, these are just estimated numbers. The 2, 4, 6, 8. So 129 minus 80, 49 in emergency. I don't know, I always find myself doing this thing where I like overthink the budgeted numbers, the estimated numbers, and I find myself annoying myself, but I don't know if it annoys you guys. Maybe it helps you guys think about your own numbers. I'd be curious to know if you guys actually like work on your budgets while watching other budget videos, or if you just put them on as like background noise. or like maybe even something to like fall asleep to. I don't know, but I'd be curious to know, like, seriously, I would love your honest feedback. I mean, on anything, really, just to like help me understand what's going on, because that's the other thing. I know I mentioned I was getting bored of my budget, but to be honest, I've gotten a little bored of making budgeting videos, which is like the same reason that I'm not really active on Instagram anymore either, because I got bored with it. No one was talking to me. And it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I'd like to put my energy into things that actually help people, or that are like actually useful to people, or just even enjoyable to people. So it would really help me out if you let me know why you like or watch my videos. Anyways, that's enough ramble for now. Thank you for making it to the end. You're the best, and I hope to see you another time.